spring road posting exemption. EC representatives to be present to discuss. That's a copy of. Did you have that up already? All right, I didn't print out the email with it, cause it had the stuff from the
Yeah.
county.
Yeah,
But-
I think things have changed quite a bit since we last met.
Right. Hello.
Second shift's here.
Second shift.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. So quite a bit has changed since we had last meeting.
Okay.
And since we went on to the, meeting with the county commissioners, had to kind of look at where all the crews are, what the path forward is, what we got for different areas that are opened up to keep us working lineal and what makes sense. So, we don't have a lot of crews to put down into what is known as Mina's Way and the Robinson Road, which is the sawmill, some know it as both, which is the county piece. So going forward, we're looking at with the crews that we have in place, working that lineal to finish up with the wire pull coming up from Moscow, is just completing the wire pull through to the Lake Moxie Road. So what we've done is we've talked to Weyerhaeuser, and we have an exemption on their road that we're gonna do a lot of maintenance on the road, some culvert replacements, building up the low spots. And we're gonna use that road to continue coming up through. So we're gonna stay off the Lake Moxie Road, not use the county piece. The only trucks that we gotta bring across is a 60,000-pound pole trailer that would have to cross the Lake Moxie Road from Troutdale. It would be 3/10 of a mile from Troutdale down to where the line crosses. Well, we got a bunch of one-ton trucks and stuff. Those would really come into play. The reel truck that holds the reels, running at 85,000, it'd be 2 loads of reels. And equipment that comes, we can't, we've stranded some into the pond or down, that drill site down in there already. So what we're looking at now, what's changed, is to keep these crews working, where we've relocated a bunch of them, rethought some of our southern work, is just to get an exemption for 3/10 of a mile from Troutdale down to where the line crosses. And we don't have any use for the rest of the road.
Right.
Yeah.
That certainly is a different perspective than what we face with the
Yes.
county.
Yeah, and I think, after that, thinking about some of the impacts and just trying to move some of the equipment and the crews to better utilization and still keep construction going forward, instead of putting them all right here, it just made more sense, from a constructability aspect. So,
What, do you folks have in mind for repairs? Is it still a similar type of proposal as
I mean, what,
initially?
what I'd like to propose is, you know the condition of the road, is take a look at it, and whatever has changed since us using it, we gotta fix it. Plain and simple, we're on the hook for it.
But just that section of the road.
Right, we're not gonna use any other part of the road.
Right, but you continually have used that, all parts of the road during the
Yeah.
project.
Yeah,
right?
we have, along with a lot of trucking firms.
Sure, I'm not saying you're the only one.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
but we've, in the past few weeks, you really haven't seen many of our trucks on that road.
Been quiet.
Yeah, I mean, once season hit, we pulled a lot of them out of there with the relocation and told them it's off limits, totally. And we've been staying right south of here, coming up onto Troutdale from the dead water.
Right.
And so, part of that commitment, we got repairs to do to Troutdale, and then whatever repairs have to happen out on that 3/10 of a mile that we're gonna use. I mean, there's gonna be, you know, I'll just use, for instance, the place where we go off into the right-of-way, Charlie, on the north side of the road. It's cracked up a little bit from equipment, you know, that is gonna have to be cut. Do a cut and pieced in with hot top, not just a, you know, coat over it and patch the cracks, you know, you cut that out, you put a new piece in there.
You had originally been thinking about, using it this spring and then next spring. I mean, I know that was a different proposal and just leaving it like for the summer and then repairing it, you know what I mean?
Right.
Whatever, the spring of 25, wasn't that, at one point, that was the thought?
Right.
Is that, something that you're thinking with this 3/10 of a mile section 2, that you would be using it 2 springs in a row?
I think we gotta look at the construction schedule and
Mhm.
see what's gonna go into next year. Some of that construction schedule may shift, so we're out of sync with the, spring of next year. If everything happens and goes well with the drilling and pole work in there this summer on this side of the Kennebec, then that could change the whole schedule for next spring,
Right.
and we wouldn't need it.
Okay. I was just curious, cause that was.
Yeah, I think
something
that, I think that's
you know,
one,
proposed at one point,
yeah,
so.
that's why.
Right now, you don't know for certain, it sounds like, but
Right.
it's unlikely that you'll be using it 2
Right.
springs. Okay.
Right, but it's something definitely when we do know one way or the other,
Mhm.
probably look to come back to and say, okay, hey, here's how the schedule is starting to settle in. It looks like we're gonna be in that season, or no worries, we're gonna get out of that season.
But I think a big change was when we went to the Somerset County meeting, the road commissioner was there. I mean, he put on a very strong message to everybody about his concerns about using all of Lake Moxie Road through the posted road season. I mean, he hit on it pretty hard, so after that meeting, we took it back to the team, is there anything else that we can do? We know we need to keep working, but this is the way that we can do it to minimize the most impact possible. And then in terms of the second posted road season, what we would try to do is just sequence the work to avoid having to go along that road, if at all possible, but if that's not possible, we'll be back
It's
again.
just too soon to tell right now.
Yeah.
It is,
Whether you need to
unfortunately.
use
It's
it
so
for
dependent
the
on
second
the
spring.
weather and.
Yeah.
Right, I understand, I just,
Cross that bridge
so
when we
it's
come.
a possibility, but we don't really know right now.
Right.
But we'll
It
keep in
sounds kind of
contact.
remote.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
you know, after talking with you guys at the last meeting and then talking with the commissioners, it really got me thinking constructability. What can I do different? What can I try to do? And so we started talking about these things, you know, bring up of how we have worked well with Warehouser and working on their roads and stuff. Kind of partnered with them, we've been meeting with them every other week. And we've got a forester who's inspecting the roads, coming up and down weekly. And if we see something, we address it. And so the same up here with Troutdale. I pulled on board as the one I want to work with Blue Rock, as being the one who's taking care of the roads up there, as Andy Webb. So I've given him the number, and I want Andy to be the one who gives his opinions and where he wants things fixed. So when it comes to this road up here, I don't, you know, you kind of have a road commissioner, a winter road commissioner, if you will, Andy that salts and sands, but, you know, as far as looking at the road when the season's over and stuff, whether it's, hey, we take and walk that 3/10 of a mile walk up through the selectmen and us and say, hey, here's the problems, here's what needs to be fixed.
I can tell you Andy knows a lot more about roads.
Right, so,
And I would trust him,
Andy's a
and
part of
I
that.
trust his judgment and
I
his
do
knowledge
too,
and
totally.
discipline.
I'm learning a lot about roads, can I just say? I'm learning a lot.
I know, Phil knows a lot,
Yeah, yeah.
He does, no.
sadly, he's getting older, but, you know, my concern is the overall road. I know right now you're not gonna be on it for the spring posting, but keep in the back of your mind that there is some negative impacts on that road, and it's, the life of that road is not what we expected it would be once we did it.
Mhm.
Regardless of how it was built,
Right,
bad, good or bad or whatever,
yeah.
the impact of the corridor has impacted it. I'm not saying you're the only one, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, I just want that brought to your people's attention, that maybe it needs to be looked at in its entirety. That's all. Okay? As things settle down, as you pull out, as you do whatever, you know, you're not gonna be here forever. And that
I am.
road, like.
I am.
Well, me too, but I mean, I'm just saying, the impact of that road and the condition of it, I just hope that it's looked at in its entirety and consideration, that's all, right?
Yep.
That's all. I know right now you're not gonna do that, I think that's a good compromise. On the email trail, Phil thought it was a very good compromise. Phil Curtis did respond, I don't know if you saw that, Jim. He did say that it was a good compromise. I know David, Charlie
What did
saw
he
it.
respond to?
I
Oh,
think
it's
he was
Charlie.
primarily responding
Right.
to,
David,
the roads in Concord or
Mhm.
somewhere
Okay.
that he, because I believe
I haven't seen it.
Well,
he
David-
approved, or they approved a waiver for some roads there,
Okay.
because he thought the condition of the roads or the quality of the roads was such that it
Yeah.
wasn't a big deal.
it was an
Okay.
email from David Spencer
We're going
that
down
was
the
Okay, I didn't see
to this board,
Okay,
okay, and I apologize. But he did say that he thought it was a good compromise.
yeah, and that was part of the decision-making process too, is, we got a small job over there, we're just gonna get in there, get out, do it, and be gone in 2 weeks, over in that area.
Right.
So the impact's lessened, and then those crews are moving further south.
Right,
So it's been a moving chess game these past couple of weeks, and trying to move the pieces where we best utilize them, and, cause the last thing we would not wanna do is lay off workers, and then we lose crew, and you got the A-team working right now, well, maybe the B and C come back from the break, cause the A's got a job elsewhere, so wanna try to keep the quality of the workforce we got here.
But Sandra, that's definitely, noted.
know what I'm saying?
Had you,
We've been keeping track from
Yep.
a community
Right.
relations perspective.
Right,
So
no,
definitely
we will
noted.
take that back.
appreciate it.
No.
Just keeping in view
Mhm.
of what we spent, that's over $1 million road, and, yeah. I appreciate the consideration, really. Yeah, no, I think it's pretty easily stated, and, what do you think, Charlie?
The only thing that I think is, when you guys were here the first time, you had, a document that was an
Yeah.
agreement.
Yes.
I would like to see, I don't know if I didn't get the, I mean, I saw the map.
These are the
Yeah.
two
So
copies.
we had
Yeah.
talked last time, I believe, those are what Moscow and Anson had provided to us.
Right.
What we have done in Windsor, Whitefield, Green, and we will be doing in Leeds, is a letter of commitment from the project to the community, essentially stating that we'd like to work on this portion of the road, and we'll fix it to pre-construction conditions or better. And that, and it's signed by the project, and it's a commitment to use the roads at that time.
And that's something you get prepared and
I can send
delivered
that,
right
yes.
away,
Mhm.
which
Mhm.
would be
Yep.
prudent.
Would we wanna do a hard copy,
We could do hard
signature
copy or
DocuSign?
DocuSign, whichever you prefer.
I had a fax copy, I could get
Well,
my assessors to sign it and get it back, whatever.
This is for the 3/10.
So we can either, we'd have to check to see, because we've been doing it where
So
Manoa's
that have to
been
go for a whole
signing
nother meeting, though, we'd have to
it,
wait a
or
whole
they
time.
would have to.
No, 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 no.
No,
No,
Yeah.
fine. I can understand that's, yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, if we're in agreement tonight, we
Yeah.
can make the agreement, providing the document.
And I
later.
can provide the letter signed.
But the authority is us enacting tonight, and then the documentation.
But the timber of the letter is what's there. It's
Right.
just a commitment coming from the project versus a letter
Right.
from the community.
So it's nothing, it's just,
How
it's a letter of commitment.
Yes.
Yes.
So how could a decision be made tonight without that letter in hand?
It's
Is it gonna be reading just
Yeah.
like this one? This is an example, it's just.
It's pretty much,
so.
yeah, I mean, we could,
It has more details in it actually,
Right.
but it is
It
does
essentially
actually-
that
Yeah.
letter, but it's a
According to
commitment
what
from
we're
the-
That's the
talking
letter
about.
that you had last in February, is that the same one that you brought?
they're right here, Susan, if you wanna look at it.
Yeah, this one was written up by the, town of Anson.
Town manager wrote up the one in Hanson.
And, Moscow just took Anson's, as we've been coming up with these agreements, we felt that, you know, it's much better for us to go, hey, we'll take that verbiage and make the promise, rather than the town saying, hey,
taking
you
that
will,
burden, yeah.
we're making the agreement go, we
Yeah.
will.
Will.
Alright, it's a much better,
And it's taking the burden off of the community to have to write
Right.
it and come up with that,
Right.
so we're just doing it for them. But it's essentially the same content, it's just written out that we, the project, are responsible for this portion of the road as agreed upon here, and we'll fix it. And we'll work with you to make sure that those fixes are to your standards.
So once it's provided to the town, I can make sure that these people see it, and then we'll sign it.
And if you receive it, and it will be signed, if you receive it and you go, we're not comfortable with this for whatever reason, you know, we can have that conversation and what
Yeah.
you don't like about it,
Right.
you know, but it's essentially what's written out for you there. So there's no surprises in the letter.
As far as I'm concerned, as long as the substance of the letter is similar to this, or perhaps even more detailed.
It's better.
It's better.
It's-
You've
better.
answered
It's better.
any question, you've
It
answered
lists
any
the type
que-
of equipment used, it lists
you've
what the
answered any
damage
questions
is.
that I have, and I don't have any more, and I don't have any issue with signing the letter
Do you have
myself.
a motion to make, John?
I make a motion that we, sign the letter, provided it's not substantially different from the examples that we have been giving, and it sounds like it isn't, and perhaps is even a little more robust, so, that's my motion.
To give permission for them to,
Yeah, I say we
okay,
give, sign the document and give them permission, that's my motion, isn't it?
okay, I second that. All in favor? Okay. Awesome.
So,
Yeah, it's just a matter of getting the document and getting to us.
Do you have the
Get our
town
signs on.
email?
Hey Katie, do we have the town email?
I forwarded her the agenda,
I have
so
it,
it'll be
yeah,
on the
Forest
agenda.
Plantation.
I have it, I can send
Once you
it.
get that to
Yeah.
me, I will,
You should get it
do
tomorrow
my
morning.
due diligence. Well, I won't be here till after 3.
Okay, that works for me.
Yeah.
But you will have it in your inbox ready to go.
And I, something, are you gonna go back to Temple tonight?
I am,
Okay. He won't be back until
but
Friday.
if it's on an email, we
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Can you print the scan?
I can DocuSign or please send it.
Yeah, DocuSign might be better.
We can do that.
we can,
Yeah, let's do that.
to what email would you like it?
Do it to your email?
Yeah, it's, chris.huke@gmail, chris.hewke@gmail.com.
Okay. And will you be the one who will be signing it?
I'll be the
He'd sign,
DocuSign.
he'd sign
Okay.
that one, then, Charlie, do you want it to come to your email or to the town email, does it matter to you?
Doesn't matter either one.
No?
Okay.
You can give them your email. They might have it, I don't know.
Charlie, what's your email?
Charles Hathaway, isn't it? It's not Charlie, Charles Hathaway 59@gmail.com, sorry about that, senior moment.
No, you're just checking with the boss, I saw.
Mine just send it to the town email. and
Okay.
I'll do that.
I got that.
Cause I prefer to have it at the town email. And spring's it's today is the first day of spring, welcome
Wow.
everybody. That is good news.
It is good.
I bring good news, and it's gonna dry out fast.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming fast.
It will.
How do you guys feel about the eclipse coming up?
There'll be a lot of people in town just like the 4th of July, and then they're gonna be gone.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, are you guys feeling that impact? The people or, the businesses feeling anybody's presence checking in? Wanting to know if there's anything available and stuff like that? Whether
I
it
think
is
so, I think most places have been booked up for months.
for months.
I
Months.
think that was
Months.
what they were telling me,
Is it
Northern, I was meeting with Russell and a few other people at Northern about another thing, and I think they're like,
I know you're
Okay.
gonna see, working with Weyerhaeuser, they're looking at closing and gating a lot of their roads,
Yeah.
cause they don't want all these people coming up, and the same thing, you
Exactly.
can drive out into the
Yeah.
middle of nowhere, and then all these vehicles are stuck out.
And who's gonna go rescue them,
I
right?
know.
Gee,
All the
we can
game
make money.
wardens.
You'll have to do that on the Hangtown.
Well, that's what I was wondering if you guys were seeing.
That's up and going on.
Good idea.
It's gonna be crazy, I think.
Have you guys heard any
Not really
numbers?
feeling it,
Like,
you know,
I'm wondering how
Jackson's
that-
expecting over
feeling
25,000.
We've been
stuff
hearing-
like that.
25,000.
We've been hearing 50,000 up in
We've
this
heard
area.
Yeah.
crazy numbers.
From the state police.
Jackman, they canceled school for the day.
Yeah, I know.
They canceled school for the day.
Yeah, they did. They don't want the pressure on the resources.
I mean, if you get 25,000 going up 201.
It's
I
gonna
can't even
be
wrap
nuts.
my head around with that.
They're doing disaster planning up there,
Yes,
I mean,
they are.
toilets, you know,
Yeah.
fire protection, public
Yeah.
safety.
Barry's gonna set up.
Barry's is gonna be kicked clean.
Oh, he's gonna take the time to make some money.
But like planning for mass
Really,
casualty,
yeah.
disaster.
Yeah.
But thank you very
They're
much.
coming to the weekend
Well, thank-
anyway. It's-
You know, thank you for the time and.
Right.
Thank you very much.
You bet, thanks for making the journey.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's interesting how it's all working
Did you guys
through.
all sign in?
Yes,
I
I
did.
did.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
All right.
No, and we appreciate these conversations, and we haven't taken them lightly to the point where it actually changed our schedule to the point where we moved south. to
Yeah.
Lewiston.
Yeah,
You know why? Because guess what? The roads are opening up soon. So I mean, through these conversations, to move an entire crew south, it's,
But,
Big deal.
it's a big move,
yeah.
but again, it's been in cooperation with towns and listening, and,
we don't wanna do anything that, we wanna do the right thing,
Right.
so. And if there's anything that you have, you know, you can always call Dave, Coach Jim's always available, you have my email. If there's anything that community relations can assist with, they're always
Appreciate
here.
I can always
Awesome.
be seen over a cup of coffee in the morning.
but, so thank you very much for that.
Thank you
Well,
guys.
thank
you.
Appreciate your time.
Let's shake some hands. Everybody.
I'll fix that tail light.
Yeah.
Katie, okay. And if-
Sweet.
Don't go, I need your help.
Thanks for making the journey.
Last person that
I'll look
needs
for that
support.
email.
I'll send that email to you.
Awesome, I appreciate
Take care.
it. Have a safe trip.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Charlie, excuse me, who was it? Pass over here, so- Charlie, tax collector's report? Article 1. Article 2, tax collector's report. Tax collector's report, March 19th. Collections remaining and outstanding are 26,372.42 as of 3/19 at 9:31 a.m. From that total, an estimated 9,000 will go to lien once tax collection period closes, estimated August 1st, 2024. The Forks Plantation has not received any additional reimbursements from the state of Maine for the stabilization reimbursement. Awaiting further information from the state regarding additional funding to bridge revenue gap on that end of things. As an awareness for all, as we approach the boat registration months ahead, the Forks Plantation processes those registrations for taxpayers in the Forks. We do not process unorganized territory transactions for the state of Maine. Anyone in need of these services would need to contact the town of Jackman, Bingham, or Moscow, as they do process for the state. As in the past, any non-excise tax transactions are handled upon request by appointment. Contact information is on the website, and folks can call the town hall or email the Forks Plantation at myfairpoint.net to confirm day and time. There is no set day for these services, as appointments are made based on availability of the customer and the town hall office. They're all done at the town hall, no longer.
Make a motion, we pass the tax collector's report as read.
I second it. All in favor? Thank you. Article number 3, treasurer's report, Evan.
Okay, so, our current check balance is $160,627.96. Some of the recent deposits that we've had, tree growth and revenue sharing, and real estate taxes equal about $16,795. So, of those deposits, though, only 4,000 were real estate taxes, so they're kind of slowing down. There's a few checks outstanding. The considerable ones total about $12,000. That with the accounts payable for March, which I don't have the mileage in this number, but equal about $21,327. So that leaves us, after those checks that are outstanding plus this pile of bills, with approximately $126,903. And of course, that is, I don't know when we plan on making our first annual payment back to
June,
in June.
finish your statement.
No, you probably know what I'm talking about, the first annual payment back to the closure account, right, that we borrowed the money from?
That's dependent upon town meeting, it's
Okay.
not automatic.
Right,
It's part of the budget process.
so anyway, keep that in mind, that we have that payment when we are looking at this balance.
Yeah, I thought when that was done last
Yeah.
year,
It's not
Right, so it's already, it's in motion, it just, I don't know exactly when we're doing it.
that we borrowed the 100 and
And
then
then
we're
we
gonna
committed
pay
to
it
paying
back
back.
over 4 years, 25 grand
Yep.
again.
Yeah, which we can absorb a $25,000 payment, like we can, so I mean, I don't see that as.
Oh, we added to the budget.
Yeah,
Right,
The thing
budget
is
process.
that I think everybody needs to be aware of, is that, so what that means to me is that $100,000 of our bank amount is not really real. In other words, if we hadn't borrowed that money, that wouldn't be sitting there, we wouldn't be seeing that, it'd be considerably less.
but from a positive perspective, we're over $100,000.
Yes,
So
right, I
we-
hate to say
We
it.
would have we do have a positive balance even without that,
Absolutely,
Loan.
absolutely, but it kind of gives you a little bit of,
but we don't have a lot of breathing room, it is.
perhaps feeling fatter than we
So-
really are.
It's part of the budget process.
And so, anyway, speaking about the March, AP warrant, not all of the expenses have been initialed by 2 people, and that's the only way I can do a check, so I don't know if we wanna go through that now, or just I'll make you guys aware that I need more signatures on these
Correct.
expenses in order to get them done.
Charlie's already looked through them, Chris could look through them real quick if you wanted to. let him-
I mean, I could pass them to you now or do it afterwards, but I mean, there's just a couple that,
I think I've got my initial on all of them except a couple, but one of them, I believe, has 1 signature and one of them already has 2, so.
Right,
And I
We're
only
all
need-
set except for that one that has just 1 signature on it,
right.
or 1 initial. I
That was my
believe.
mileage reimbursement.
right, and I
Right.
didn't, I wasn't clear how we were doing that, so maybe it's just the one then,
Yeah.
the
Right.
mileage, if you wanna take a look at
Yeah,
it.
I know that most of these I've probably already got too, but.
But yeah. Awesome.
So that's really all I have.
Do you have the balances on all the accounts?
I do have all the balances on the accounts.
Can I have I have a question about the mileage.
Sure, yes.
Because I'm just wondering, what the precedent is here, because I've looked at all of the warrants over the last couple of years, and
Right.
most of them, and I do not recall, town employees, putting in for mileage reimbursement, and I'm just wondering if the town has a policy or any, anything that sort of delineates, town business,
Right.
or, how we do this, because it seems to me like this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, kind of a precedent. I know I took maybe, 15 trips up and down the Moxie Road, putting in signs and
Right.
assessing damage.
Right,
I had no intention of charging mileage. I thought it was part of the job, but if that's supported by policy and by town practice, then I think maybe all of us need to start keeping a little bit closer track of our mileage. But again, my question is if I'm gonna charge the town for mileage, if I leave my house, I stop here, do something, go up to Barry's, go back home, do I charge for mileage from my house to here and from here to back?
No.
I mean, is that town business? I mean, what separates town business from non-town business? That's all.
In the past, mileage has been paid for things like buying supplies, picking up the town book, you know, when the book goes to publish.
Mhm.
You take it down, and then you have to go back down and pick it up. I can show you different examples it hasn't been an automatic precedent, no.
Is there a policy that delineates between what constitutes town business and what isn't town
We need
business?
No, there
There's
is
no
not.
policy
No,
that
there's
says, I
not.
think it's mostly just been like, if
And-
people had out of town type things. But I
Well,
mean, we could,
I think
set
that
a policy.
this is another one of these things that, you know,
Needs to be
I
done.
know things, perhaps we've
Right.
done this casually and kind of
Mhm.
from the hip, but I really think moving forward, we
Yeah.
should have something like that. So that people can know, yeah, I can charge for
The
this, and keep
commissioners'
track of it,
meeting
or I,
was-
or I don't, you know what I
At least
mean?
we'd have to go tomorrow. The commissioners' meeting was definitely out of context, something totally that, you know, normally would not have to be done.
Yeah.
You know, I had to take time off from work, and I had to go down.
It's never even occurred to me to charge mileage for,
Right.
all of the trips up and down the Moxie Road after
Right.
the flood.
I
And
would
I mean,
never charge mileage for anything either.
So, I'm just curious about the phenomenon.
Yeah,
So, cause Charlie went to that meeting too, does that mean that he should?
He could have,
submit
right,
mileage from the scout meeting when
right,
he went to the commissioners
right.
meeting?
I would think that we should set a policy for leaving out of town,
Yeah.
like, cause those are, like, that's a
It's
little
over
above
and
and
above,
beyond,
yeah.
you know?
It's over.
I would agree, and if it's on strictly town business, perhaps,
Right.
but I know, speaking for Evan, I mean, Evan frequently is down doing deposits fairly regularly, but he, you know, like a lot of people up here, I know when I go down the river, I got a list. You know,
Remember,
I'm
that's
getting
something that-
everything,
Right,
so,
right,
you know, the question is I don't, and I'm not speaking for Evan, I mean, sometimes you may perhaps be going down just to doing a deposit, but you
Right.
also may be clustering, you know, other activities.
it's something we might wanna look at.
It's a
as
bridge we almost crossed with Denise too, because it was brought up then.
Before, yeah.
Right.
It's something we might wanna, as we prepare the warrant for the town meeting, we might wanna think about that.
Okay.
You know, we might wanna discuss that.
I just think it would make it easier
Mileage.
for everybody, that then there's no,
I mean,
you know,
I go to
you
2
know-
meetings a month, you know, that I don't get paid to go to.
yeah, that's what I'm
Evan
saying, it's like,
has to go, look at all the deposits you did, Evan. Crazy stuff.
I know you do, that's what I'm saying, is
Yeah.
that if that, you know, where, you know, do we,
Right.
and when do we, and when do we
Right.
not? And it should be written down, in my opinion,
Whatever.
just so we have something to refer to if there's any questions.
Well, it should be outside of your normal activities.
Right.
What is the rate?
The rate that we paid Heather Sylvester for hers is .655.
That's the federal rate right now.
And I put the documentation with the request.
Thanks.
It's not like I pulled it out of my career. Right? And I'm sorry they weren't ready for you.
That's all right.
There's no way that you could get the warrant ready when you didn't have the bills prepared. Okay, and I do have a couple of things for you, Evan. If you have a moment while we're here. So for the 23-24 town meeting money distributions, that we, you know, I think we approved to do these in November or December. I was just wondering if those have been done yet. As we get ready for budget, okay, the correct amounts on the accounts need to be in place. So the monies that we approved to move
The donations?
at town meeting needs to be done so that when we look at the budget, we'll know, you know, what's in the accounts, what's not in the accounts, so as we get ready, and we're gonna talk about that later. There was the new account for the 15,000 that we were gonna set aside for the assessment of the town projected in 3 years. We voted to do that at the town meeting. So, questioning them.
I haven't moved any of these monies around because we haven't, talked about it as a group. I mean,
Correct.
besides these articles, which I don't recall. So, yeah,
Right.
I have no problem setting these up, if that's what everybody wants to do.
I mean, well, we voted to do that in
Yeah.
December, at the December meeting,
Okay.
we voted to do that, and I didn't take a copy of the minutes, but I could have.
I did put the minutes up
No,
there, I just did that tonight.
good job, good job.
It's just moving stuff around. You and I-
That's all.
I don't understand what
And-
revaluation account is. I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's cause we're gonna have to, because of our, you know, evaluation that this year we increased it by 25%.
The state's requiring.
The
all
state's gonna
property
require us.
assessed.
We've got a
That's what it is.
temporary grace period, but it's gonna be on the other end of it, we're gonna have to have a complete reval of the town. And it's gonna be around probably 40,000. So that's why we opted last year to set 15,000 aside. This year we may agree to set another 15,000 aside to get ready in preparation for that event when it comes.
It's
Okay?
gonna be a bill that's due.
It's gonna be an event that's gonna happen, it's not gonna be a bill, they're gonna
It's
come
gonna be
and
the
they're gonna have
reassessment
to
is gonna
visit
happen,
every
and then there'll be a
property,
bill
every property
after
in
the
town.
reassessment
Right.
has been completed, which is a state required thing, because they do all towns. You guys must be doing it, they want their money.
Right.
And it's got to do with the property values increasing
Right.
rapidly in rural Maine. So,
It'll increase our tax bills.
well, ideally, if your evaluation goes up, your mill rate would go down. You know what I mean, if your value of your property goes up, unless the cost of running the town go up, in which case your mill rate, you know, so it's a combination between the evaluation or assessment of your property's value and the mill rate, so.
Okay. Alright. And I check the account quite often, and I noticed that there was a transfer, where's the paperwork, I'm sorry. Transfer from the long range, arm account, the road account to the town,
For Lucas striping?
right, the 1498.98.
Yeah.
And when I look back to when we paid the other half of the Lucas striping, it was actually paid out of the road maintenance account, not the long arm account. So we probably should look at that to see if it's moved in the right, and if the striping is more like a maintenance, it's not like a project. You know, like the culvert project we did, Evan, those kind of things, that would come out of the long range.
I think
And I
the
might have
directive was.
And I
long
might have
range road
instructed
account.
you to do it differently, and I'm not saying it's your fault, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, looking back at the history of what it was, is that's what it was taken out of the maintenance account, not the long range.
Okay.
Like Andy Webb's bills for the storm damage, right? That would come out of the long range road account, cause it's like a catastrophic event that we paid out of the regular checking account that's gonna be changed, but, so that's just an example, that's,
Well, it won't be changed, we'll just transfer it. If we deem it to be
right,
an expense to that fund,
right.
we would just transfer it.
And anytime that you move money electronically like that, you need to have a trail and trio. It's gotta be,
You can't.
well, I think there is a way that we could do it, but we have to investigate, it's not a problem.
Then you'll have to teach me Trio because.
Well, I don't have, as you know, I'm not the person to go to, but we can look into that as we move forward, okay? It's just, when you move money, and hopefully after this audit is finished,
Actually, I moved money the way Karen told me to move money.
electronically, that's
Yeah,
right.
so if Karen works for our auditor, and
Right.
I would say that I did it the
It's
way she
still
wants it done.
electronically, but it has to be accounted for in Trio. Okay?
Well, how could you move money without having it be accounted for in Trio?
He did it electronically in the bank account, he didn't do it in Trio. But anyway, it's something we need to look at, no, I'm not, it's not,
That's the only way you can move money is electronically. I mean, well, you can go to the bank and actually move it, or you do it
Right.
electronically. You don't do it in Trio.
Right.
Okay, all right.
alright, but anyhow, sorry. Okay. That was all I had.
Motion to accept the report by,
I make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
Steve.
All in favor? There we go. Town clerk report, Susan.
I'll start with, saying that the election went well, we had 9 voters. One of my questions is, I know, or I'm pretty sure that you included my hours in my last paycheck. How is the pay for Denise Haynes? Is it gonna be mailed to them? Is it gonna be into Sue Peters?
It was mailed last Friday.
Okay, that's all, I just.
All payroll was processed.
Yeah, I
Same.
just didn't know if you guys had their addresses, or I guess you
Oh,
do,
yeah.
of course.
I
Okay.
did. And the payroll comes to me,
Yes,
okay,
well, I had it right, I didn't
Then that's
know
fine.
that, yeah.
cause I didn't know where it was, you said you had put it in and I didn't know where it was.
Right, so I asked Evan to put it in
You're
your.
right, and I got it, no worries, no worries, and,
So I did want to, cause I've, from that, research group that sent, called 4 times, and anyway.
oh, I
called-
know,
I
they're
called
overkilling me.
MMA to find out what is the protocol in terms of, you're inundated with people who want election results.
Right.
And they said it's an FOAA, so I felt like it was over and above, I felt like we were getting like almost robocalls about, what are your election results? The answer is to put our election results on the website, and then to let them be able to, but that's why they're calling us, is because we don't have, the election results on our website, so, I did find out that I was, wrong in not responding to them, I
No.
should have.
That's fine,
But I did call, Bangor Daily News, that night I emailed them the results, as well as the Secretary of State, of course. And those are the only 2 that I responded to, but, it doesn't, what MMA said, it doesn't matter how they ask for it, if it's a phone call, if it's an email, if
Yeah.
they come in and wanna look at it
yeah,
in our files, they have a right to that information, public information.
and I made sure you had every piece of
Yeah,
information,
So, anyway,
requested.
my bad on that one,
No,
next
that's
time
fine.
I know.
that's fine.
So, which brings me to the topic of the website, and, I met with Peter Coughlin on February 26th. I sent an email later on that day, and I asked for 3 different methods of conveying the information to the board, because in the minutes, on January 2nd, there was a motion to maintain Peter as webmaster and Susan to act as liaison and work with Peter to make changes with board approval.
Correct.
Okay, so I sent an email on February 22nd, I didn't get any response I got a response from Evan and from Charlie, and I finally got a response from you yesterday.
Yeah.
So I
apologize.
noticed that the email wasn't even open. I feel that that is disrespectful to me, to Peter, and to our website, to our residents. I am frustrated that I can't get anything done, it feels like, and, I mean, we had good intentions, I wanted to share what we talked about with you guys, and I'm ignored, and it's really frustrating for me. I also want to say that I sent another email from Becky Young, who asked me if they could use this town office. No one has responded, including Charlie, no one responded to that email, so, I know she's not a resident, but she lives around
Right,
here, and it's
right.
polite and email etiquette to at least say, I got your email,
Right.
a response is kind of courteous. So I'm just saying that I would appreciate when I send an email, I don't send frivolous and lots of emails. I would respect the courtesy of a response, that's all.
I apologize, I didn't get back here tonight when you were gonna go over it.
Yeah, and so, you know,
Yeah, I'm sorry too, it must have been something I looked over, like I must have
Okay.
just,
I,
I do apologize.
thank you.
I
I
think,
already did, but I'll do it publicly.
So,
there you go.
I did on the way here, I'll do it publicly
That's
now.
well, you responded to the website thing, but.
Yes, I
Right.
did,
Not
not
about
not
Becky
Becky's thing, no.
So,
So,
in terms of the
guilty as charged.
website,
Correct.
there is a lot, I mean, it's a lot, but it's not all that much. I went over it with my notes again today, and, you know, I don't know what sort of venue guys you know, we can try to figure out, but, I don't think an assessors meeting is the appropriate time.
No, I would love to sit down and go over it with
Yeah,
you.
we've got too much, I don't want to just sit down with one person, I want the board to be, that's what the minutes say, that it was a board-approved thing, and, that's what I would like to follow through with that.
I would request that maybe you just, try again via email and
Okay.
we will
Okay,
respond. And I
Okay.
think it's probably the
that's
easiest
great.
way.
Yep.
And
So, I also want to bring up the, subject that, the registrar has not made any of the updates to CBR since, she was elected. I don't wanna throw her under the bus, I like Lindsay, I think she's a wonderful girl, woman. And I did tell her that she wasn't really needed for the primary election, I knew we weren't gonna have a huge turnout.
Right.
But the fact is that she wasn't there, and, you know, she really hasn't done,
Hasn't participated.
right, so it, you know, I'm just gonna put that out there. I don't know what, you know, I just wanna voice it, that's all. I don't know that any action needs to be made, I'm just maybe a little disappointed, that there isn't,
It was an
You know.
appointed position, so.
it wasn't appointed position,
Correct.
I know.
No, I know.
But anyway,
Voicing that.
and then just one last thing is that I just, so I know our town meeting is gonna be in June, I just want to remind the board that, there's gonna be the June 11th state primary election, which is obviously on a Tuesday, but, you know, that's gonna be, you know, there's gonna be set up for it, and it would be nice if it's not gonna be the weekend prior to that, is all I'm saying. If it is, I'll deal with it, but it would be nice if it wasn't on that weekend, so that we do have time to,
Set up.
So you
set
can
up.
focus on the election.
Yeah, and they've already started with the mailings.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
know.
there is no,
I do wanna
time
mention
off.
that I thought the hall looked wonderful. You did an excellent job on the hall.
yeah, actually, yeah, Sue Pierce, because it was so kind of orange, she swept up in here.
Right, I mean, we didn't have Lindsay around, Lindsay did the last cleaning of the town hall and that kind of thing, so. But, no, I thought everything worked well, did a good job.
Oh, one more thing, is that I did fill out a DBA for Tim DeShong for his business.
Okay.
And so that is in our files. He had to have that for a bank,
Yeah.
I don't know, he was
Sort of like
opening
the
up a
phone
checking
company.
account and they needed a DBA to be filed with the town, so, I met with him and we got that done. So, anyway, that's it, so,
I make a motion, we accept the town clerk's report.
a second.
All in favor? I typed it up instead of my hand spread from town.
Thank you.
Much more easier to read. Sand and salt, we are coming to the end of the winter. so far, we had a salt delivery after the last assessors meeting. We've had 203.90 tons of salt delivered. Salt usage up at this point is at 248.75. So we have a discrepancy, or, we're in the minus, of 44.85. So, in the budget, we have budgeted 18,000, and I don't have it in front of me, that's not a good thing. We've only spent 15,000, and its total budgeted was, total budget was 18, so we have enough for another delivery. Another delivery will give us about 33 ton. We're still gonna be in a negative, probably -3 ton if we don't use any more, and we know there's probably more weather coming, so.
Do they let you carry a deficit over to the next year? I mean, does it make sense that you would order a quarter of a load?
No, you can't, you can
Right,
only
you know
order
what
by
I'm
one
saying?
load,
Just
so,
So if we're like 10 tons
Yeah.
in arrears, then we catch up on that next year, is that?
yeah, as long as I give them the statement at
Okay.
the time.
Right.
Yeah, as long as I let them know what's going on with that, and, I've been in touch with them at the garage, Charlie, and they're,
Just to stay in budget, I
yeah,
think we should
Order
order
one more.
one more
okay.
load.
One more, and then see how we ride, and,
Is that a,
I make a motion to order one more.
I'll second.
all in favor to order one more, okay, all three in favor, Susan,
thank you.
awesome,
I'd like to talk a little bit,
okay,
about the salt.
sure,
And I'm gonna talk about it as if, my friend Andy Webb was sitting here. It seems to me that the amount of salt used this year is quite high. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to, compare apples to oranges, cause every winter is different, and some
True.
winter requires more salt, so it's really hard to say this is how much we used one year, cause it varies from every year, from year to year. But, it was brought to my attention that if you make a run up and down the road and you spread a larger volume of salt on the run up and down, then it probably means that you do not have to take another run up and down. Because you've got a bunch of, like, 3 runs worth in one. Just saying, we need to just keep an eye on it. I'm not trying to, to me, for what has been used in the past and for the conditions, it seems to me like the amount of salt that we've used is substantial. And that may just be the way it is, cause
Right.
we've changed contractors and that's the way it is, but if it is the way it is, then we certainly need to, cause we were perhaps lucky this year, cause I think we were probably, if it'd been a different type of year, we might have been under budget, so.
Yeah, we actually had snow in February.
right.
Yeah, you know what I mean, so it's, just something we really need to keep an eye on for next year, I think, and during the budget process.
I mean, I have all the records going back 5 or 6 years, Charlie, and like I mentioned to you before, that was probably, it's not a totally accurate assumption on your part, okay? Then automatically he's applied the salt, okay?
And I'm not saying that, what I'm
No.
saying is that we should keep an eye on it, because,
We
again,
we
you've
keep
only
an
got
eye on
one
it every
year.
month, I report it every
It's important to
month,
stay within our budget.
Yep. no,
Yes.
I
that's-
report it
that's what
every
I'm
month,
saying.
and we do keep an eye on it, so. Alright, so I will order a load of salt. Article 6 is the review of the liquor licenses and the board to discuss as necessary. The reason for this article in here, it's in here usually every March or April, where we bring it to the table and we don't have any actual licenses in hand yet. They come in one at a time, as we know. But what we do is, we put it on the agenda, and if anybody had a problem, they could come and talk to us. as far as I know, we've had no complaints or concerns on any of the businesses in town. There's nothing that's been brought to the board's attention or discussion at any agenda. And then the next thing is just to say that as these liquor licenses come in, that we review them, bring them to the table at the next assessors meeting, and then sign them and let them go.
Do we need to get word out to the folks who need to renew their license, and what the process is?
It is their
what they-
responsibility to do the liquor license, it comes up once a year,
Mhm.
you know, and they know that they need our signature.
Right, so
Um,
we're gonna have them, when they wanna do it, reach out to us.
They reach out to us
Figure it out
and the policy has been in the last few years that we bring it to the table at the assessors meeting, review it and sign it at the table. That it's
Okay.
not signed.
Do the,
on purpose.
people that are, asking for the signatures, are they usually here? Is it something they send in the mail, or they deliver, or the actual piece of paper?
Usually it can be, it's been mailed, you know, you've mailed yours, that kind of things.
So it varies?
And they drop it off, or sometimes they come,
Okay.
you know, it depends.
When they get renewed
Yeah.
and everything is variable.
Usually, like, we have to come up with a policy, we were gonna discuss that as to how we're gonna handle that. I know we had some concerns about copies being kept in the town, you know, and all that, so. But this is just the first step to bring it forward. Okay?
So what is the status of the copies currently?
You can save your questions for the end. Okay?
Okay, no problem.
And there's no motion or anything we need to do. We could make a motion to review them when they come in, like In by the River, Northern Outdoors, Crab Apple.
I mean, it is sort of vague, I think maybe even like a mailer or something saying the town is gonna do this, cause we have had complications in this last year, and to avoid that happening again, like maybe if we just send a general mailer saying, if you have a liquor license, if your business is in town, to bring it in,
You have one.
bring it in before this is when the
Yeah.
town meetings are, type things, cause it does need our
I mean, the
things.
policy really hasn't changed and we need to discuss it.
I mean, the thing is, you can't say it's at this date, because
No,
this liquor license starts here, this liquor license starts there, you know,
They're all
it goes from this
different.
date to this date,
they're all different,
Um,
which, you know, we don't mind reviewing them and signing them, it's just
yeah,
a way to
Yeah.
bring it into a circle, so to speak.
So the motion is,
To review the liquor licenses as they come in for Northern Outdoors, In by the River, Crab Apple, Moxie doesn't have one.
are you saying during the board meeting? I'm just trying to make sure that I get.
As they come to us, we bring them to the board meeting, yes.
Okay, so they wouldn't be, they're only gonna be signed once a month at the board meetings, is that what I'm hearing?
I mean,
If
it
they're
just-
brought to the attention.
if there's like, I mean, at a board meeting it would make sense, but if somebody needs a liquor license, say, somebody screws up and doesn't get their liquor license in time, they come to the town to panic, and I'm like, we need our liquor license signed. Like, we should go out of our way to try to help those people.
Absolutely,
I
we
agree.
should.
Yes.
But usually it's done at the assessors.
Yeah.
So we all can be on the same page.
I guess then I'm not clear on what the motion is.
I don't think there's
I
any
think there is
rules or
no
anything.
motion.
Okay, I'm
discussion.
gonna delete the motion.
Okay, just discussion.
I've read a lot of minutes, from other, towns and their assessors meetings amongst all different types of meetings, but it's quite often that they just have discussions about things and
Right.
not making decisions or, you know, making motions and talking about stuff. So it's kind of what happens. It's not
Okay.
that, and I think that fits this category of what we're doing here.
Okay, those annual things, I hate them. Article 7, acceptance of assessors meeting minutes of February 20th, which I have here if you need a copy of it, Chris.
Or I read it online.
Okay. Yep.
So,
You too? And, I did respond to the concern about putting the balances of the accounts.
Yes, I saw that.
Yes,
And I
and
saw
Evan, you were
last-
absolutely correct about not putting them on the minutes, because as we change things and things are shared on the website, definitely,
Yeah,
you know.
they're already on the January ones, which were approved
right?
with those numbers. And so they're printed and posted with those numbers.
But I mean, I don't,
I
sorry.
don't know, I mean,
but they weren't added on February's minutes, right?
no, we
And
took them off.
And we're not going to, I
And
think
we're
is
approving
what
the
we
minutes
decided.
right now, so.
correct,
Yeah.
and I appreciate your
Yeah.
understanding, and thank you, Evan. Did anybody make a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the assessors meeting minutes from February 20th, 2024.
I'll second it, all in favor? Let's go, good job, thank you, and you said you put them all out there?
I did.
Okay, and the school board minutes and stuff, we haven't had any school board minutes.
Yeah, I haven't, if they end up in my folder, then I try to take care of them
Yeah.
and put them in those
The ones
notebooks, but,
I could double check that for you, cause she does email me the minutes,
okay.
but they have a meeting coming up in April, which is next month.
Right.
I believe it was April. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's April. They have 4 meetings a year, even though we don't have any students. 4 meetings a year.
Well, we could ask Lindsay too, Lindsay Yen.
She's not back yet, she's on the canyon.
Who
Right.
takes the minutes out on a school board meeting?
Regina.
Regina does.
Regina, yep. Regina does that, and then she forwards it. And usually I put it in your box, like the CFWF, and
Yeah.
that, yeah, usually put
And
those
I've
in,
been-
yeah,
Yeah, those are in there,
Yeah.
in the notebooks.
I appreciate that.
And the UKB,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Thank you. Article 8, Loxy Dam. Welcome, Leon. Welcome, Leon. You know Leon, everybody knows Leon, right?
Yes.
No, I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
And your treasurer.
Leanne Duval, this is, Evan Anderson.
Good to meet you.
He lives up on.
Big way across the river, I'm a
Yeah.
field assessor.
Yeah. They had their town meeting last night.
Oh, cool.
I do have a town book that I'm gonna put in the office for everybody to look at if they want. Right. And Leanne and I talked about the assistant dam operators vacancy that we have. And the job description. Did you get my, you got my text? Thank you. That is something that we've gotta talk about tonight about Moxie Dam and about the dock systems that we have here. We have all the information, but right now, importantly, right now is the, assistant dam operator vacancy as we move into the, active season for the dam. Okay? Charlie, do you wanna look at the job description?
I have job descriptions, so.
Okay,
and I
and
have-
of course, Chris,
For
you
all
took-
of our positions, I've already looked at them.
Alright. Lean, you wanna talk about the position and your interest in it?
I think I'd make a good assistant. I spend a lot of time on that lake, like every other day.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And I keep an eye on the water level, cause I'm a concerned boat owner. I draft some water with my pontoon boat, but I don't wanna be hitting any ledges and rocks. And I think I could fill in for Jim Levitt.
I know,
Fill that for you.
and Chris, as you know, is the, dam
Yeah.
operator.
I agree, Leon, I think you have, you have time available, which is important, and,
Mhm.
you're, like you said, you're on
Sure, we
the lake
can
all
work
the
together,
time.
that's not a problem.
Yeah. I'd be glad you're interested. And what do we do? Can I nominate Leon right now and say,
You can,
I nominate Leon for assistant dam operator? year with us?
Do we have it?
Is it a yearly thing?
It is, it's until June 30th. Every physical year it's appointed.
Yeah, so,
So after town meeting and, yeah.
I second.
Fill the void for.
Right,
Yep.
right. Because none of us know what's gonna happen at town meeting, so, it's up for conjecture.
speaking about the dam, I really feel like it's time to shut the gates, you know, I mean,
I second that.
there's no runoff to
Let's
speak of.
finish up this first. All in favor for Leon? Thank you.
Who seconded that, sorry?
Oh,
Charlie, and all in favor, there we go. Okay, thank you. Welcome. He's gonna need an oath, I think.
Okay.
Yep, he's gonna need to sign an oath. Okay, and we're gonna need some information for W-2s and all that stuff.
do I have to supply my own life jacket?
We have life jackets on the dam. We have hard hats on the dam, we have life jackets on the dam. All right, Chris, sorry, go ahead. You
I
go
mean,
first.
I think it's time to shut the gates, cause we gotta capture what we can. Who knows what's gonna happen this spring and runoff, and there's not much for pack on the lake at all. So that's like usually a concern with big ice chunks, pulling out chunks of things and floating them into the dam, but for the most part, I think everything's calm, and I just really think that we need to be proactive about
Right,
doing it early this year.
right,
I have a bunch of dock quotes that I've gathered.
right.
There's 4 dock quotes that I got. And speak with you guys a little bit about them. If you look at the emails, they're mostly just parts lists. But there's 4 different docks.
Charlie, would you like these?
I looked at, are those the quotes and the parts list
Yeah.
and all that?
Yeah.
I've looked over them
You did?
pretty
So,
extensively, yeah.
Okay.
just to explain it.
All right, no problem.
The aluminum dock, that would be like your typical shoremaster that you see a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They're a full aluminum dock, like that being a secret decking, but they have like, they're 4 foot wide, I got this quote just to put it in there. I don't feel as far as a commercial dock, that you'd wanna do something narrow, cause it's tippy, it moves. But I did wanna get this quote as one of those docks that they sell. There's the poly dock, which is a floating dock, and that's
Which
by
is what we
far
have
your-
right now.
Well, this is a poly floating dock, and, that's by far your more expensive and top of the line dock, which has got a gangway, which is a walkway to the floating piece. That's the way both the docks were designed, is sort of like what was there before. There was a 24-foot walkway and a 20-foot, section of floating is what
Do we know
is
how
there.
long the current walkway is?
The current walkway that was there before is 24 feet long, and the dock is 20 feet long. I took the measurements of what the dock was
I knew you'd know.
there before. So that would be, these quotes, they have 6x8 sections, 4x8 sections, 6x16, 4x16 sections. So the floating dock quotes, if you notice, are 4 feet longer than what was originally, put in. Or what's there right now, I should say. The integrity dock those are the, docks that I've dealt with. The quote for this dock is a commercial dock. I didn't go and get the cheaper one. I went and got the 6 foot wide. This is a commercial dock. This is heavier grade everything, and that's why, this quote went up to where it did. I do have a lot of experience with these docks. They're very adjustable from the top. You just hit a drill with a piece on the sides and it goes up, down for level. It's very simple, very stable.
Is this the dock that was in the integrity, builder's quote?
This is the integrity builders,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry, I just-
That one I
That's what I
really
thought, I didn't know, cause you mentioned integrity, I didn't know it was the builders, that was a
They're-
brand of
they're,
dock.
No, they're,
How much room do
Shore
we have in
Master
the dam?
Docks, I think it's called, is the brand.
Right,
And, the shore side is the Hammond one, and these are Shore Masters, and they're beefier, they're thicker. This is a dock that.
Where does,
I'm used to dealing with.
where does the money for this come from?
No, this is something that the town's gonna have to vote on, there's no.
Oh,
like,
okay.
The
so
Moxie
these are
Dam,
all-
it could come
if you
from the
guys
Moxie
wanna-
Dam, it
yeah.
could come from the Moxie Dam account.
I mean, the town's gotta decide that they want a new dock, cause that other one's destroyed.
We
and
need a new dock.
needs a
I
new
think,
dock.
I think it's
There's
in
a-
our realm of assessors to assess and move forward with.
Yeah, I got different quotes, just to give you guys different ideas. This other one, the 13,700 one, is a 4-foot floater, it's pretty much the same thing, but it's 4 foot. And I would say that would be a little bit more rickety. But I got these quotes as just like examples of what you could get.
Right.
Personally, I would recommend the 2 more expensive ones, is what I would see as like your
Hold up to better grade.
commercial docks.
I don't think we need to have this go to the town vote, though, I think that we can,
I think that if we go
Spend
over a
town money.
certain amount of money, we have to bring it to the town.
Yeah.
if it's under 50,000.
Is it 50 or is it 8 or 10 or something like that? I think it was like a lower number than all of these.
Well, I mean, we can wait and do it, but the town dock that's there needs, that's
I mean,
matching.
That, I can hook a chain to that thing and
We
pull
could
it
do a
over the
special
shore
meeting.
if it need be, cause that's
We
really
could do
what
a
needs to
special
happen to it before we fill the lake.
Cause it's not safe.
No, it's
I mean,
not, we could do a special town meeting, so,
it's
good,
broken.
Charlie.
My
Yeah,
personal
just
opinion
repair.
is that whenever we're spending fairly large amounts of money, and it's not on something that is a routine, month to
No,
month
it's not.
business of the town, that we would be well advised to
Yeah.
give to the voters.
I think it's up to us to
Special town.
Otherwise,
decide what
we
kind
can
of
do a
dock we
special
wanna
town
get.
meeting. What's that?
I think it's up to us to decide what kind of dock we want to get and then present it to
Yes.
the
I
town.
agree.
Correct,
I-
correct.
Right.
And I've already made up my mind, it's in the integrity one, that's why I didn't have to look at over all these things, because
Right.
I've looked over them all before.
Yeah.
Talked to some
Right.
people that
And-
know docs,
and
I
you're
think that's the best
also-
value.
You're also getting, with this, is you're getting, and if you notice on his quote, it said that
Installation.
the installation,
Yeah.
and which is big.
That is big,
That's
that
I
is
think,
really
I think
big.
that's our best value,
It's
Yeah.
gonna save
to
you
be
$1,000
honest with
bucks
you.
right there.
But I do think we should
Yeah.
do a special town meeting, for an expenditure that is that large, that is outside of the usual
Let's do it.
activities of the town, so.
I
I think we
agree.
should do it.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's
Okay,
up
there's
to
a
us.
motion to,
Accept Integrity's quote and bring it to the, for consideration to the voters, I guess. But I think that's the best value,
Yeah,
and I will support that,
Yeah.
and, that's my
It'd
recommendation.
be the easiest way to get around.
but we do
And
have
dock
money
is
in
really
the
nice.
long-range dam account too, we have money in there.
There's money there, but we need to, like,
Right,
it needs to be brought to the
and
town.
there's a second,
A second.
I think we also need to have a motion to close the dam, I think that's an action item.
let's finish this motion, all in favor for the special town meeting for the dock? Okay, awesome, let's do that, let's bring it to the people, good idea. And, Chris, closing the dam.
Yeah, I feel like we should close the dam, grease everything up, and, I mean, the gates are clear, there's nothing holding anything up. That's what you look for, is you look for the ice buildup on the side, so that when you're dropping the gates, you're not doing unnecessary. That's what, pushing on ice and gears and all that stuff.
Do you wanna do that this weekend?
I could do it on Sunday.
What about you, Leon, are you
I'm
available?
Italian, I'm pretty free.
So that
Late.
is March, whoa, that's not my phone.
And so, there's also pulling that old dock out.
Right.
I think I might have a neighbor on that, I know somebody who wants it,
Thank you.
and they'll remove it, so,
Yes.
Well,
so.
I know somebody that wants some of it too,
Right.
I don't know how you wanna deal with that then, but.
I know,
Yep.
needs to go, but trouble is,
Well, if we have more than one interested party, we should sell it, even if it's for
well,
$5.
no, I think,
Who's willing to
if
pay
someone's
$5?
willing,
A bid?
if someone's
A bid.
willing to take
Sealed
it,
bids.
I can
It's a lot
double
of
check
work.
with my person and see if they're serious, I can double check,
Yeah, it's a lot of work to actually get rid of one of those docks,
yeah,
I'm sure.
I know.
it's
Especially
far
with
as
no water in
disposing
the
of it,
And if somebody's willing to take it out, Charlie, your friend, whoever, I don't know whoever, it doesn't matter.
I mean, honestly, that floating section still floats fine.
Oh, yeah.
It's all, but like
Yeah,
the walkway
right,
is completely destroyed.
well,
And everything about the dock is
I'll double check
in
with
complete
my
disarray
resource.
as far as
I'll double check
commercial
with my
use.
resource, but I'm all set, I don't need that.
So Chris, you made a motion, it sounded like,
I make a motion that we close the gates this weekend on the lake,
on Sunday, March
start
24th.
collecting the water when we can.
March 24th,
Mhm.
and I will notify the Friends of Lake Moxie, and I will notify,
So we'll need to get
Brookfield.
a tube of grease, and, which I can pick up on my way in town, the grease gun is in there.
Yeah.
And that's, beginning and the end of the season, and even during, it's just, grease things up.
close gates, all right. And so we begin. Leon.
Thank you, Leon.
We have a motion on the floor, second.
I second.
All right, all in favor to close gates? Catch what we can. I don't know, it's gonna be an interesting spring, right?
Perfect.
What did I do with it? Town mowing position.
So Chris Mann is not doing it again.
Well, it's, open for discussion.
Did he say that he wasn't willing to do it? Or did he, I'm just
Hold
wondering.
on, let me get my stuff in front of me here. There we go, I got it. So it's basically, because we had a perpetual, we had somebody in there for 14 years. Now we're in a different situation. Last year was a hard year where he got started and then couldn't go. And then when it was time for him to get going, that last month that we had, that he could have mowed, he'd had time, commitments and so forth. So it never got completed, never got started up again. So, I think we should post the position and see what we get. See who we get, whatever.
And that was just sort of what I was wondering, if he
Yeah.
thinks that there's a job there, if he knows that.
Yeah.
Like,
I
is this something?
haven't talked with him about the position this year. I did say that we might be posting it. I didn't say.
Yeah, I mean, I was just curious, because I would think that after last year, you would think that he still had
Interest.
a job doing it. I didn't,
Well, it's a yearly position. It's
it
not,
is,
and it stated that it's a yearly position, wherever it is.
What's the term, what's the?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking,
Don't
it's
you
right
want
here,
to
hold
say
on.
on June 30th, like Leon's that we just did?
Hold on. 1 week before Memorial Day mowing to begin unless otherwise specified. Shoot. I don't know if it says it right here. But it's, when we started to do this last year, it was to be a yearly thing, but,
Well, the question was it yearly or seasonally?
yeah.
You don't
Well,
mow
it's-
on.
we need to, and whoever does start up this year, it's gonna be a tough go.
So with that, didn't we have town meeting on September 28th, so how much, isn't that when he would have started again?
Yeah, he was able, it was like October 9th or was so forth when we paid him his back pay and so forth. And he did agree that he was gonna move forward and go and, get the mower going and I said, we need at least one more mow. But if one more mow, the way it is, it would be equal to 2 mows because you have to do it twice
Right,
to get it
right, down.
prepared for the winter, right? And he never did that.
Is Kevin's position posted every year too?
Kevin, it's an appointed position. This one is more, I mean, it can be, but,
I don't know why there would be a difference for the lawn mowing compared to any other one of these jobs, like shoveling or digging.
well, what, I mean, you get into the habit of having the same person do something, and I'm not saying it needs to be a practice brought forward. I just don't know, I mean, I haven't talked with Chris, I can talk with Chris, but I think, just based on the, I don't know, that's up to you guys, I'm only one person. Okay?
Yeah, last year was a extraordinarily tough
Yeah,
year,
it was tough.
and we did find someone, went through the process of trying to find someone. It wasn't easy on him, and there was definitely a lot of things in the way with things actually happening. I would definitely just see if he has interest, for sure.
I would as well, I don't, you know, I don't think it's fair to him to, you know, subject his job performance to the conditions that he was
Oh,
presented
God,
with
no,
last
that's
year.
not,
Because
that's not what I'm saying
there
at
was
all.
a lot of difficulties that, you know, were presented to him, and so I think, you know, I mean, I don't know if he still wants it, maybe, you know, we,
I don't know.
I think he might,
you know,
Or start this spring.
Yeah, I mean,
I would start by talking with Chris, and then we could avoid having to post employment, you know, cause we did already hire him, if he's willing to do it, you know, and we don't have to.
All right, Charlie, would you like to talk with Chris?
sure.
That's great.
so that's a motion and a second? Is
I make a
Talk with
motion that
Chris, yeah.
Charlie talk with Chris to see what he's,
You could always
Interesting
come to the
phone
next
calls
assessors
for this.
meeting and talk.
Yeah,
about
and
the position.
I will,
Charlie,
mention
thank
that.
you. Another thing, we need to talk about the mowing position. At last assessors meeting, Chris, you weren't here. I had been in touch with Whittemore's to get spare belts for the mower, you know, when we started, because we didn't have spare belts. We still don't have spare belts for the mower. They came in and he wanted to mail them to me, and I said, well, that's when we were shut down, so I didn't follow through with that. But when I talked with them, I said, well, the mower's gonna sit for, you know, it sat all summer and it's gonna sit all winter. And he said, oh, no problem, he said, just bring it down and we'll go through it and make sure it's all good. And then Charlie had some input on that issue.
I think bringing it down there is a waste of money. I maintain you know, I have a mowing business, I maintain my mowers, it's pretty basic what needs to be done and checked, which is you change your oil, clean the air filter, you check your blades, and you should always have a spare belt. Because
Correct.
you never know when one's
I
gonna
know.
bust or wear out or flip out. I always have a spare, sometimes
my
two,
God.
because I save the old ones, because sometimes you can apply with one.
It could
But
be a
what I'm
two-belt
saying
kind
is
of day.
that personally, you know, if Chris wants to take this job, or whoever else wants to do it, I'd be more than happy to spend an hour going over that machine and just checking the belt, ordering a new belt, changing the oil, I mean, I do it
Right.
routinely, you know, so.
The
But that, I
only-
mean,
yeah.
the thing, it's just me with Whittemore's, I've done a little bit with them, you were charging, you were gonna be paying a premium price for having anything
They've
done
always
down
taken
there.
good care of the
Well,
town.
they do. But I thought Harold used to do it, right? I mean, did he bring it down there every year, or did he do
Oh,
it?
Harold did a lot of
Right.
his own stuff.
Right.
He did a great job.
I don't see
But the
why
only
we
other
couldn't
thing
continue
about
with
that,
right?
Charlie, is that you doing work on the equipment and so forth, and then the equipment going out with somebody else for, you know, as an employee, there's a kind of a liability there.
I don't understand, I mean,
I mean, if something happens and the mower broke down, I don't know, there's a possible liability, I'm not sure.
to who?
I mean, I think if the mower breaks down, we can get it fixed,
Exactly.
Okay,
you know?
all right, I'm just
I mean,
bringing it up.
I mean, yeah, if there's a serious problem, I mean, I don't rebuild engines, I do change blades, I do change belts, I, you know, deal with tires and stuff like that, greasing. You know, if there's something serious,
I
We
would
don't
think
want
that
me working
changing
on it.
oil and doing regular maintenance could be done without driving to Skowhegan.
that's just my personal feeling about it, so.
What's the other thing? Which I had thought.
I mean, for me,
To me, that's basic stuff. If there's like bearings going out, or something like that, we send it over.
Absolutely, I'm not down with that.
We
We're talking
bought-
about routine maintenance.
Yeah.
Right, we bought the mower in 2015, so I didn't realize it was that old, right?
It's held up pretty well.
It has, Harold he did a great job for the town. And, you know, when you look at it, Charlie, if you think that it, you know, at some point, maybe it will be something we'll have to replace, but I mean, it's served us well, is what I'm saying.
My personal opinion is that if Harold McManus has been taken care of, it's been very, very well taken care of.
I agree. Okay, so, all right, so Charlie's gonna check with Chris.
Yeah, and when I do something like that, and I really don't mind, I'm kinda like Leon, I'm retired, I don't mind giving a little bit of my time to do some of this kind of stuff, I really don't, it doesn't, it's just part of it for me, I don't expect extra credit or anything, it's just, for me, it's just part of it, so, anyway, I don't consider it a burden at all.
Okay. And then you'll get back to us about the Chris.
I will, and when we do the maintenance and get it ready, I'd like to do it with whoever the attendant is, so we can go over the machine and operation the machine,
very
and
good
safe,
idea.
and how to take care of it, and things to, do's and don'ts,
The trailer needs a little bit of
Wow,
looking at too.
it does.
I didn't look at that, I
Okay.
did start the mower last year, and before I took the battery out and ran it for a little while,
Did a
cause I
good
wanted to
The
warm
only
up.
thing I recall is the gate that holds in the back is only hung by one side, and the other side's not working.
That's a liability issue,
So that's,
because that thing comes flying out the back.
I couldn't find out when we bought the trailer, but I think it was at the
Okay,
same time.
I'll look at that as well.
Okay, all right, and I don't think we need a motion for Charlie to do the work on the.
I don't think we do either.
But keep track of your time, Charlie, if there's something that gets over, you know what I
Okay,
mean?
yeah.
It doesn't mean that
I'm
there's
not gonna
something
get
you
into
have to do
something big,
pro bono.
I'm not rebuilding the motor.
No, but I appreciate your
Yeah.
effort.
That's needs for, I'll say all lawn mowing associated equipment, because there's a weed whacker out there that I should look at too, and the trailer.
All lawn equipment.
There you go. Okay. I think that's all for the town mowing position. Thank you for the discussion. 10 is the remote participation policy that we've been banging around for what, 3 months now?
do we got something to set it into place here?
Well, my concern on the remote only participation is that it states when we're all not able to be there. Kind of states it now, and I'm trying to find the line that says that. On this, the public input policy, there was a article that said, a person who is not a voter in the town may speak at the meeting only with the consent of 2/3 of the voters present. I didn't think that was applicable because you're talking about an assessor's meeting, you're not talking about a town meeting. And I recommended that we take that out. And then, I mean, the remote only participation policy, we have 1 meeting a month. We're due to have it, instead of elections in June, so. I don't know if we really need it.
And I think this whole remote policy was put into place so, in case the what if factor, just so,
Snowstorm or whatever.
yeah.
Or
I think it all
pandemic.
came out of
Pandemic.
COVID originally.
Yeah,
I feel like we should have a remote policy put into place. And I know that if I'm unable to make it, I can come in on a Zoom and still put my vote in for whatever, instead of not having a vote, that's important.
Yes, it is.
I agree.
Definitely. I noticed on one of, Peter Coughlin's, I was prepared to go over this website, he does like 5 or 6 other towns.
yeah.
And one of them, I noticed today when I was looking at his other, town
And is it listed
And
on the
it's Zoom,
website?
it was Zoom, they use Zoom.
Yeah.
So, I think it's,
I can read the policy line, paragraph in question if you don't mind. It says the public body named above may meet solely by remote means if an emergency or urgent situation requires that all members of the body meet only by remote methods. And we were talking more of having the remote run while we're in a meeting so other people could view it. So that is, what we were thinking of is not the intent of this, is what I'm saying.
I think it's more for the assessors, I mean, the viewing is the viewing, right, that's just.
But it's not
you
stated
have
in
to,
that here.
no, but you have to have it for both, Chris. That was an MMA, straight from
Right.
MMA.
Right.
Basically, what this says is that if you have allowed remote access and participation amongst the board members,
We have to,
then the same, method of remote, access needs to be available to the public. It does not mean, as it does now, that they can just interrupt or anything. It's the same thing. If it's interactive at the end of the meeting, if they have a question, if they're a town, really anybody. I think the 2/3 thing, as Sandra mentions, is pretty much restricted to the annual town meeting. But my feeling is that if we had a non-resident here that had a question, wanted to say something, I mean, I'd listen to them during the proper period of time.
You did the speaker company, yeah.
So, but that's the whole intent, and I think we could, you know, I think that there are pieces of the policy that do not necessarily know will they ever apply to what we do and how we do it. So I don't really feel like we need to wordsmith this thing to death. I mean, it's been run through the MMA lawyers and all that kind of stuff. It's better than what we've got, and, you know, if we move along and it turns out that there are some issues, there's not a reason why we can't correct them at that time. Trying to predict right now what issues might arise and try to address them beforehand is very difficult to do. That's, you know, my feeling about it. And there may be some stuff that comes up, you know, I don't think the state police are gonna be out here strictly enforcing it. I mean, it's something we get in place and we might have to tweak it a little bit or find some of it doesn't really apply or some of it, that's my feeling about it, so.
make a motion, we launch the, public input and participation policy.
You have to make a motion first that we have a public hearing, because that's the requirement, but if we have a special town meeting, we can
We
put it
can do it
on.
at that time.
We can include
I
it.
was just gonna say,
Yeah,
can we
because
do,
you're supposed to have a public hearing before you adopt the policy, so the public can weigh in on it.
I make a motion that we have a public hearing for the public input and participation policy at the same time as as we present the doc information to the people.
I second the motion.
All in favor? Got some work to do here. Audit update, here we go. Audit update, we are looking forward to, Ron Smith's report coming in. He said last week we met, I mean, Charlie, you were there, Chris, you were there, I was there. And he said something this week should be coming.
That was pretty much all it said, is
Yeah.
it's finished and it's gonna be released.
Right.
So as soon as it gets released,
Right.
it will be released to everyone.
Right.
And
That's good news.
so we can just look forward to that.
And Evan was, they suggested that Evan reach out to Karen,
Which I did.
which you did?
I left her my cell phone and email address so she can get a hold of me.
Awesome, to start the reconciliation process and, get things jiving.
I told her I'd be available whenever she needed me to be available,
And you're gonna let the board know when you're gonna be working with her?
of course.
Okay, appreciate that. Appreciate that. Okay, UKVAS update, the new ambulance is here. it's amazing. It should be registered by now. The new roof is on the, base. The grant monies have been flowing, and he's been able to pay for the new ambulance, pay for the, equipment that we wanted to get, and also, get things ready for, the old ambulance, one of the old ambulances, I don't know if anybody noticed that it had been in an accident, it was down at the, body shop in Skowhegan. We decided not to have it fixed, it was like $8,000 that it was gonna take to fix it. And we took that money and we'll put it into the general fund, and we're gonna take and ship that unit south to have the body, the body of it taken off and then put on a new truck, so that it will be another new ambulance that will be delivered within hopefully 8 months. And that's all with grant money as well. So the $600,000 has been utilized and is flowing. It's very good news. Ian Shalit, who is our director, has taken a town meeting with a job with the town of Bingham as town manager. So he's more invested in the area, will be in town more, and is definitely,
But he's staying with UKVAS.
he definitely is, yeah, yep. That's what he said, that's what he said. And he's gonna be coming to our town meeting, and I wanna ask him to bring the ambulance to the town meeting. I think that would be cool. And I thought it would be cool if we could have the ambulance on our town cover for our town report, but we'll talk about that as we get ready for the budget. Did I not put that on there? No, I didn't. Right.
Oh,
So that's all good news, so, and their meeting this month is next week. Okay,
I make a motion, we accept the UKVAS update as presented by Sandra Thompson.
Second.
all in favor? Good. Okay, CFWF. Again, I missed another meeting. Is it the meeting tomorrow night, Charlie?
Yep, 6
Tomorrow
o'clock.
night, it's 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. All right, I will be there. I apologize for my lack of attendance. Been a pretty quiet up at the landfill, not a lot going on. Our costs this month were down quite a bit. That'll change as we get going forward. I haven't any news on the awning yet. Maybe I'll have some news on that tomorrow night. Once we talk, right, Charlie?
Correct, and we also, just for anybody that's interested about the condition of the ground up there, we did budget for some repairs, for this year. Some people like to complain about the mud, but it is mud season, and I'm only willing to listen so long about somebody complaining about the mud, because it's just part of being here. However, nevertheless, I think there can be some improvements made, and Andy agreed, as far as sloping and drainage and stuff like that, so hopefully it dries out quicker. Because we've got a little depression, especially by the West Forks, and it's creating a mud hole, so we are planning to address that this summer. So hopefully it won't be as bad next year. I would count on it.
Still meets bug season.
Yeah, right.
And so that's about all I have to say, but as Sandra indicated, it's not, it's been pretty quiet up there. We got more propane this week, or last week. That's about the big news up there.
Right, we got a lot done tonight, okay. Motion. Make a motion, we accept the report.
Second,
All in favor? There we go. Old business, do we have anything?
I can't remember remember if I had anything or not, but nothing's jumping out at me, so, as far as old business goes.
Chris? You?
Good.
Alright. New business, budget. Yeah, the budget. It's that time of year when we gotta sit down at the table and talk about the budget. And that's, you have a big part in that too, Evan, as well.
I would hope so.
Yes, yes. Getting figures ready and so forth and all that.
Do we have a plan?
Not gonna make, that's why I'm bringing it up.
There's the donation list and all that stuff that usually we do.
Yeah, basically, we go through, we sit down and go through the warrant articles from last year. Go over the monies, get the balances, the current balances on everything. Strategize, like we have, things we have to include, like repaying that money for the, 100,000. There's a lot of things that, need to be gone over. And as a budget review, all three of us are getting together, so if we get together, we need to post it. We need to let people know that we're gonna be here. It's a non-participating event. It is not anything that the public has any participation in. But for transparency reasons and all that, we need to at least post it. So when we make this, we have to put it out there.
But just so that you're clear, if it's a public meeting, it's a public meeting.
Right.
Not, and I understand that you wouldn't want people here, but it has to be a public meeting.
But there's no.
And if people are here, they're here, but
No, but
they
they
can't
can't
participate.
say, of course not.
Right.
You sit in the corner and listen.
I mean, last
Right,
Friday's
that's
meeting was
kind of
not a
the way it
public
is.
meeting.
So,
Well,
It was not publicized.
well, it would, right, but if you guys are meeting, it has to be a public meeting. That's.
Publicly announced at least, right?
right,
Right.
Right, and you can definitely say that they can't speak, but it has to be posted and it has to be, you have to allow for public to attend.
I mean,
there is a briefing from the MMA about this that I sent by email quite
I
some
have it
time
right
ago.
here,
It's-
Charlie.
It's worth reviewing, it's a little ambiguous in a way, but it's pretty clear to me, at least the MMA's position on their interpretation of the statutes,
No, I know, and I did have a copy of that here, Charlie.
so.
I reread
That's the
it.
only thing I'm going by,
No, I
and
know.
Susan as
I
well,
know.
so.
I might ask for further clarification on that
Yeah, that'd be
as I move
awesome.
forward, but I haven't yet, and I apologize that I did not.
On that, note, tomorrow, I'm
Right.
spending the day in Augusta at an MMA seminar that is about budgeting and, making, transitioning your budget into warrant articles.
Right.
And it's an all-day seminar, and I'm leaving and going and spending the day tomorrow to learn about this,
Okay.
so.
No, that's a good step forward, that's awesome. And
I
we
never said
approved,
that.
we approved the, what's that?
I'm just paying it for myself.
Yeah.
I don't-
We authorized payment for it tonight. It's one of our bills.
I didn't see it in there, but
There's a $95 bill in there for your,
I was gonna pay for it myself.
I don't see why you should,
Well, it's my education, it's for my benefit.
Yeah, but it benefits the town.
but it's benefit of the town.
I meant to pay for it myself, but the website wouldn't let you sign up. for it.
Right,
You
right.
Pay for it yourself.
Right,
Right,
no, that's
what
fine.
happened, it defaulted to you guys, so.
I'm just saying
Which I
this
think I sent an email,
paperwork in.
right? But I let everybody know what had happened and, what the deal was, so. It's up to you guys, I mean, I'm not gonna insist if the board thinks that,
I signed for it.
you
I
guys
think
should
it
pay
should-
for it, then I
I
guess.
think you should keep track of your mileage too,
So.
because it's something out of the ordinary, not common, okay? Right,
It's in-
so, what?
No, if you're still on the budget, I'm sorry, I just
I
have
am,
another
I'm
new
sorry.
business, I'm sorry.
I am on the budget, so, I don't have my calendar in front of me, but it's usually at 2 or 3-meeting process. It's not quick, and it just takes some time, as Chris knows. Chris has been through it, what, 3 years now? But it's definitely something that we gotta, if we really are planning on this meeting happening in June, we've got to get cracking.
There's no question about it.
I know, I'm just saying,
I agree completely.
we need to sit down together and get it done. Okay, do you wanna set up a time now, between now, these two
let's
Sundays in 2 weeks?
Let's just discuss it online, try to figure out when, because I wanna try to fit it in to where I don't have to make a trip,
Exactly,
a special trip for
exactly.
it.
No, weekends would be better for Chris. I don't know how you feel, Charlie, about a weekend?
I'm not adverse to a weekend, if that's what works for Chris, but I would like to try to get this buttoned up by the middle of the month, if we can, at least the majority of it.
The budget?
Yes.
Then it's not that quick of a process
Middle of
yet.
April.
Middle of April, that's what I'm saying, middle of April.
Not that quick a process.
Well, it's a lot of work, I mean, Evan's gonna be very busy,
Right.
Yep.
putting a lot of stuff together
Yep.
before, if we can even have the meeting,
Agreed.
right? You know, it's like,
Yeah,
it's a lot of collections and then a lot of, and
we
there's
should
also,
plan maybe the weekend after Easter.
and there's also all those, donations that we gotta send out.
Yeah.
They're supposed to come to us, but.
Usually, I've already got stuff coming in for the town report. I've already got a file, which I should not have in my file. I think it should be someplace where people can see it. Charlie, you need to probably look at some of the things that are coming in for that.
I already added to it.
You already added to my file?
Well, there's a file in there with, about the town meeting, so.
Yeah, but that's not the one I'm talking about. I have one in my,
Oh, I don't know about that. There was
No,
some
but
that
I'm-
Scarlet Paddock sent,
right, and
and it was up in the,
right,
those, whatever, the thing there,
Right.
right where all our APs
Right.
are. And I just put it in there, it was from, she represented the Chamber of Commerce.
that's fine, not a problem. But I need to share that. It's not like I'm trying to keep it private. I just have it in a place so that I have a place to put things. And I will make sure I bring that out and show it to you, okay?
I'm all for trying to make a push through April to get this done.
Yeah.
So we can have our meeting on time.
Yeah,
This year.
yeah, it's gotta be done. It will be done. How's that?
Are there any thoughts to maybe making the book a little bit smaller and hopefully maybe putting some of that stuff online as opposed to, I mean, our book is like getting exceedingly thick.
It's the same as it's been.
I know, but like all the names and addresses and their tax status,
That
is
has to be, in
No
your
other
town.
town does that.
it
It's a lot
was
of
so
printing.
many pages of
Mhm.
printed out documents and
I'd have to pending review, Susan. I think that,
I think you have to make that, like, Emden had a notebook.
we have it online too. We have the commitment online.
Okay.
I mean, let's look into has to be on there, you know?
What if you're Portland? Do you think that their town book has all those names and numbers?
We can, as we get through the process, we'll. talk
One of the
about
things that I've been doing a lot of is, looking at the websites from different plantations and reviewing their, their warrants for their annual town meetings, just to look at the wording and the type of things that they're discussing. And I don't see that anywhere, and I agree that it's public information. To me, it would be, if somebody wants it, it's here, or it's on the website. To me, it's excessive printing costs. That's just the way I look at it, so.
I know
That's
there's a
just my
reason, but I
opinion.
don't know it, I can't speak of it right now.
Right, so,
Okay.
well, we need to think about that, that's
Okay.
all.
Doesn't mean just because it's been done before, doesn't mean we have to do it again.
Yep, if we can save some
How's
money
that?
by having something that doesn't need to be on there off, it's not a bad thing, but if it needs to be there, it's gotta be there, so we'll just have to look into it.
I have one more thing for new business, Charlie, I'm sorry. I know
No,
you
go
have
ahead,
something.
I can wait.
On April 1st, every year, an assessor needs to be at the town hall for tax inquiries, okay? Tax property inquiries. When is April 1st, Charlie?
Just a second, I got.
It's a Monday.
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 I got
And
stuff
usually
going on.
the weekend after Easter is the weekend when those 30,000 people are supposed to be.
Right,
meeting
right.
before.
So the first is usually, I've done it the last, I've done it for quite a while, but usually you come in for a set amount of hours, you post it on the door, probably the website and at Barry's store, saying that, you know, this is where we're gonna be and how, when we're gonna be. If anybody would come to the town hall for a question, you would take it, get it in writing and then bring it to the board if anybody shows up, Charlie. I don't know if anybody would, nobody ever has showed up that I've done it. But I don't know if.
So that's a state requirement, and it's assessor?
Here, take me to,
I mean,
I would look at the NMA and see if there's state requirement.
Denise
is this
does it
something that
every
you
year.
put extra hours in for, you say, I was there for these hours? and you
No,
get
I've
paid?
never put in extra hours for this, but, I mean, that's something we could talk about, but. Yeah, and that's the notice that we have to do, so it's, I believe it's a state thing, I'm not sure, I don't know exactly why, but it's,
Yeah, it's right, it's,
Yeah.
it references a
Statute.
statute.
yeah, it does. So I don't know if anybody else is interested in doing that, but that is a work day for me.
10 to 1, that's not bad hours.
It isn't bad, it's 4 hours,
I don't mind doing it.
is it, no, 10, 11, 12.
I think
That's
I
3
might,
hours.
I think I might bring my knitting.
Yeah, if you don't mind two kids running around, it might be able to help out.
Right, I didn't know if you would be willing to do that, Charlie.
I don't mind.
Alright. Appreciate it.
10 to 1.
Alright. What else, Charlie, do you have for new business?
A individual
Yep.
approached me with a request to cut, birch branches or branches off some of the downed trees out behind town hall,
Mhm.
using a handsaw.
Hmm.
I said, I don't know, I'll bring it to the board, I don't know if anybody has any concerns, it's for, they wanna harvest them, I didn't really get into it using a handsaw, and I don't know what they're gonna do with them.
They're gonna do birch things, yeah.
What's that?
Birch things.
Brings them
Yeah.
wood.
Yeah, so,
Right,
I have no problem with somebody doing that if it's, I mean, if the trees are already down,
right,
obviously.
no live trees are down and no power saw, it's just a handsaw,
Hmm.
so, you know, 'cause
Right.
that's an issue. I don't have an issue with it.
There's tons of them down, there's tons of them down.
Sandra, do you have any, issues?
I
or you okay
don't,
with it? Okay,
no,
all right,
tons of them down.
I mean, just let them know that they're,
will do.
you know, they're on their own.
Okay, now,
Yeah,
all right, just so everybody knows who the individual is, if they're out here and they're cutting, okay, it's DJ.
oh,
Okay.
heck.
I wanted to,
It was nice of him to ask.
I'm just saying, if you see him out here with a handsaw,
DJ's doing arts and crafts.
that's what he's doing, okay,
Oh,
so.
man.
And,
I would picture
and
him
we'll
doing
leave it
that.
at that. Okay?
I
I
would
really,
picture
I
him
really
doing that.
don't think that it's gonna be a barren slope anytime soon.
As long as it's at his own risk, I mean,
Yeah.
what kind of liability do you have about that?
I don't have any problem with that.
So, maybe,
You guys gotta exchange numbers too.
I think I have your number, Leon. Oh, no, I don't, cause I got a new phone.
There you go.
Yeah, well, I didn't.
Anything
I'm
else,
not good at
Charlie?
like
Nope.
my iCloud thing, so I lost all my
Chris,
contacts.
do you have anything else?
I don't have anything else.
We gotta decide when we want a special meeting and town meeting. And then we can get pictures of those dogs?
He drew out a picture,
I saw that.
and that's the only pictures that I got,
Right.
but it's hard to actually
Alright,
get pictures.
No more new business, citizens comment and questions. Okay. Gee,
So did you say you have to figure out when the special town meeting is going to be, but that's not tonight, you're not gonna do that?
we didn't discuss
I
it.
think
when
we should
did it.
set it for quickly, because if we're gonna put a new dock in, it
Mm.
needs to be ordered and built,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah,
So you have to post it 7 days out.
So let's
In April sometime?
post it.
Not April sometime.
Let's post it for 7 days.
How about a week from tomorrow,
Yeah, sure.
which is a Wednesday, but
Well, we're gonna have the
That's
public,
April.
we're gonna include the hearing for
What is it?
the remote policy and the vote on the special dog. So, what time, what's today, Tuesday?
Are you guys all set
But
with the
tomorrow's
policy
Wednesday,
as
so if we get the
is?
posting up tomorrow, then we could have it next Wednesday.
Well, it's just gonna take some time for me to draw up.
Right. Well,
Draw
that's
up
up
the
to you, but I
warrant.
think we should get it up.
I think we need to
As
get
soon
it
as
up,
possible.
we wanna get it ordered
All right,
and built.
I will work on that.
So, for next Wednesday?
No,
Well,
we don't,
no,
no, we don't
still-
know, we're gonna, to be determined.
Okay, okay.
Cause that, you know, you gotta think of your townspeople and when they're around and all that.
True enough.
Right.
Maybe.
I mean, we could have just us here,
Let's-
we could
let's
all
try to-
vote it in, but we wanna
Actually,
have
can we try to do it for
a weekend.
a Friday?
Well, you know what's next weekend is Easter. We could do it the Friday before Easter, but a lot of people are gonna be gone.
This is gonna be a thing that, it's not gonna be a long thing,
No,
so, I
it
mean,
will not be a long thing. Are you gonna be here the Friday before Easter?
a Friday would be perfect for me.
Okay, the Friday
It would be
before
better
Easter.
than a Wednesday for me.
What would be a good time?
That's good.
Cause I'm thinking as early as possible for the townspeople. who might have
3:30,
weekend plans.
3:30, 4.
3:30 on Friday before Easter.
How about 4? Just to
Four?
give people,
So many
you know,
people
that,
go away for Easter, that's Good Friday, I think that's a hard day, but it's not my decision, but, yeah,
I know, no, that's a good thought, good thought.
Yeah.
it is, but
We need to get this done, we need to get it ready, we need to go.
and it's also when, I mean, people are getting ready for that, for the crops coming in, people are gonna come in that weekend for the eclipse, it's on.
We have like
the-
8 people coming in just at our house.
Yes, that's right, people are
Let's
very,
try,
They're
let's try to do the
everywhere.
very
Wednesday.
busy.
The Wednesday before Easter,
Let's try to do
the
the.
Wednesday,
is that,
what's the date, Charlie? He's got his
Easter.
calendar out. He's got his calendar.
for some reason, my phone loves to have all of the religious holidays, so Easter is actually March 31st.
Correct,
That's right, oh, right, that is right, I'm sorry, I had the
No.
wrong weekend, I had the next weekend.
that's fine, that's fine.
That's
So it
right.
doesn't matter to me.
So we could shoot
So
for
it'd
the
be
29th.
30th, or
The 29th?
My wife's birthday.
Wednesday, oh boy, she could come and vote on her birthday.
The 29th is a Friday.
No.
So it's the 27th?
The 27th is a Wednesday, the 29th is a Friday.
27th, Charlie.
27th is good. I think it
Alright.
might be better for
But
the,
then you have, today's the 19th, so you have to post it tomorrow,
right,
right?
right?
If you can't get it done, the 29th is safe, because those people aren't coming in. When's the eclipse? The eclipse is on
It's
April
the
8th.
the
8th.
8th, so there is a little bit of time.
27th or the 29th?
So we do have,
Let's push, 27th, I'd have to post it tomorrow.
Chris, if you stay open
Let's ju-
on the 8th, you will make money.
yeah,
Well, at least you have to protect your property, if nothing else, they're gonna be crawling all over the place. They will.
Yeah.
Where are they all gonna go to the bathroom?
John's gonna use his
Oh,
tracker
you're
and save
wrong.
everybody.
So this, special town meeting, which we seem to be in a quandary, is, we've narrowed it down to the 27th or the 29th, is that correct?
yep.
Yep,
Either one is fine with me, but we need to do it on one or the other.
I know, but
Yeah.
my schedule, I'm at school subbing in first grade all day tomorrow.
Okay,
I
let's
have-
do the 29th, so it gives
Okay.
us time, because we know that the next week, people are coming in on the 5th and the 6th.
Right,
So Friday,
the 29th, and that gives me a little window for me to get it ready, give it to you guys. Cause it's like a regular town meeting, you gotta do the warrant the same way and all that, so.
Okay.
And I don't mind doing it, I just need time to focus.
Yeah, I think giving you a few days to do that is totally,
I appreciate it.
so.
Alright, I got that, so we only got one more item,
Okay,
you wanna call it?
yeah, a motion to adjourn
What time?
at, 8:29.
Second it, all in favor? I second it, and we're all in favor.
so Leon, I have to swear you in, do you want to do it, you could stay here tonight and do it?
Leon,
Thank you, Madam.
congratulations. Oh, it's fine.
You want to do like a
10 o'clock show? Alright.
It's good doctorate. You wanna take those weird things now? Or you wanna put them on Sunday?
I'll take them.
I moved them and I wrapped up the clothes so they got out of the way.
Okay, well, I'll get us two
Let's
degrees.
get her shut, let's get her done. Leon wants to
Would
get
it
his
be
vote.
weird if I like showed up just to see how that dam operates? Like, I'm not looking to get involved.
I think I personally, I think there's been worry about liability and people being there. I really,
Well, if that's
I
the
feel like
case,
if
then-
you're just standing on the side, it's really,
It's up to you guys,
it doesn't bother me, man.
it's up to
Well,
you
I
guys.
won't do it if it makes you guys
Now, they're,
weird about that. I'm just curious about how it works.
yeah, it's pretty cool. There's two gates and they're all got gears and there's these big wrenches and.
Oh, great. It's up to you
Yeah,
guys.
I'm not, like I said, not trying to get
It's
involved
really interesting.
Yeah.
at all, really.
Yeah. But yeah, it's, I don't know, Tom showed me how to go up and down with the gates and it's pretty not, the hardest part is
Pretty basic.
not going too far with the wrenches and things are up, down.
So now you're starting to fill the lake back up, is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah. Simple to just drop everything and let it flow and then it's just like.
Which it fills from a river, that's kind of.
There's an over, yeah, there's